Hello. I need this keyboard. Good morning. I'm cold. I was warm last night going to bed, and now I'm cold. Hi, everyone. It's Tuesday morning. Stephen will be up shortly. He's getting coffee. That's spring for you? No, it's not. Oh, wow. Our high today is 80-ish? Wow. Good. I'm going on a bike ride later. Oh, GTA's starting. And it's gonna be a nice weekend too. I'm gonna go for a bike ride Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hopefully it's not a muggy 70 degrees. We have a 55-month resub from Calc9, 74 from Chaz, who said, "Thanks to WeWin for my ongoing sub gift." Thank you, WeWin. Keeping Chaz with the ability to post emotes. Hi.
Yes. Oh. Yeah.
GTA is starting.
I think we have a year until that happens, actually. All right. I really wanted to eat something.
Yeah, you can eat something when we're done.
And I was looking at what we had, and I was like, and then I didn't.
Yesterday, when I got back from my bike ride, I made 2 soft-boiled eggs.
I know. I know. Mal came up. I was in the bathroom. Mal came into the bathroom because she was going to get a shower, and she's like, "I ate 2 soft-boiled eggs."
And you were like, "Where did you get them?"
I was like, "We have soft-boiled eggs," and Mal goes, "No, I just made them." And I was like, "Well, next time, if you're going to do a soft-boiled egg, just let me know if it's happening, because I may get in on that egg action." And I was like, "You can go make a soft-boiled egg."
They
take
like 7 minutes.
I was like, "Now I'm not interested." If I could piggyback into the egg process, I was like, yeah. But the thought of like, go down to the kitchen and begin the process
you must not
of
want
the
them
egg.
bad enough.
No. No. Yeah. In fairness, that's a lot of life. It's like, what are you doing? Me too. Yeah. And then being asked to do that same thing on your own is like, that's too much of an ask.
Coffee.
But it does work in reverse though. Where if you were like, "Will you make an egg?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, now, yeah, I will." Because it's like, I want an egg, but you also want an egg. It's like, okay, well, now I'm egging for 2.
Coffee.
That happens
Too
a
early.
lot. Is it too early?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Egging for 2.
Renee.
I get a great dream to talk about, but I'm gonna get through.
When are you due? In 7 minutes.
But I'm gonna get through alerts, and I'll tell you about this dream. I haven't told you yet. It's a good dream. We got 22 months from Clockwork Pretzels, 39 from Sage of Stars, 41 from MCL Blue, 43 from Rebel Tech, 29 from Arcane Leo, 80 from Ren the Halfling, 49 from Sapphire. And here's a snack.
Backed by popular demand, Tiny Eddie's popcorn in a cabinet.
I think most everyone has popcorn in a cabinet. We have popcorn in a cabinet. It's expired, and I wonder if
Why you didn't throw it away?
Well, it's because there's a part of my brain that's like, well, you know, in case you want emergency popcorn around, and I don't know why, but in my mind I'm like, well, I want to have a little popcorn around just in case of what, not sure. And there's 2, I think there's 2 packs of microwave popcorn. Not boxes, like 2 packs.
Sorry, continue.
And it's sitting in the pantry. In case of emergency movies. We don't eat popcorn when we watch movies. Because Mal doesn't like...
I don't like popcorn.
Mal doesn't like popcorn, and I forget it exists. And that's hard. That's hard. What I really need is I need some sort of sequence of events where if X happens, then I get reminded of Y. So if I go to watch a movie, I need my TV to be like, we noticed that you're watching... I need a little clippy on screen that says, we noticed you're watching a movie. Are you having popcorn? And then I could be like, oh my god, that's right, I forgot. That's my biggest problem. Anyway, that was 1,000 bits from Elvin Scout. Says, good morning and good vibes from Florida. The weather is lovely and it's time for another stack divination. Cast ye forth the bones.
I'm pretty sure it's warm in Florida.
It's warm most everywhere. It's like getting into
Our
summer.
high is not even 80 today.
Really?
Yeah, my dad has 90s all week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be 71 here. That's why I'm going for a bike ride every day.
I might go for a bike ride.
You want to go Friday? After my stream?
I'm talking about going like
Today?
now. Well, actually, I don't know because I am sick. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, uh-oh. So until that passes, I probably shouldn't.
You want to go Friday with me?
Yeah.
Here's me Sailor Moon.
That's what my stomach sounded like this morning. But without the transformation. We got 79 months from Renee. 29 from Cookie and Pie Guy. 500 bits from Rin, who says, a breakfast stream on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
What a great, I almost read, a birthday stream on my breakfast. Happy birthday.
You said you had a dream. Chaz also said he had a dream, and then he sent me it. So... I'll tell it with your dream when alerts are done.
We got 31 months from Haste the Day, 44 from Private Brother for Christ, 35 from Rubik's Moon, 55 from Tiger. We had a subscription from DBZ GT1818. Welcome. 51 months from Slick Duke, 78 from Sappy Beast, 62 from Charlemagne. Have another little snack.
The last way to start your night, Tiny Eddie's postmodern brisket cakes.
I want everyone to know that I had brisket this past weekend.
Yeah.
Because recently on a breakfast stream, I had talked about how brisket, I was just like, you know, I've had brisket multiple times, and I'm just like, it's not super great. It doesn't speak to me. But it was actually very good.
I wish I had tried it.
It was very good. And
I did not know anyone had brisket on Saturday.
You know, I kind of wonder if the difference was when I've had brisket before, I've had like brisket as my meal.
Uh-huh.
And this was, I had a piece of like a tiny piece of brisket.
If your brisket is speaking, do you need to cook it more?
So I wonder if that's maybe has something to do with it. I'm not entirely sure. That was from Jet. It says, Eddie, what snack should I have for my 10-hour car ride?
Brisket cakes.
You know, 100 miles is a long drive inside a car. And 200 miles is a long drive inside a car. 300 miles is a long drive inside a car. 400 miles is a long drive inside a car. I don't know what that song's called off the top of my head.
It's a Modest Mouse song.
I know, but I don't ever remember the name of it.
I don't know. You looking it up?
Modest Mouse.
Long drive inside a car.
Long drive inside a car. A Life of Arctic Sounds. I always forget the name because it's...
Nothing to do with being in a car.
There's a line in the song that says A Life of Arctic Sounds. Anyway, anytime someone talks about a long car ride,
that song pops into your head.
that song pops into my head. It's the official anthem of being in the car. So
I liked playing Interstate 8 while we drove on Interstate 8.
Yeah, but that's too specific. It says 531 miles. That's the total distance. You can still play the song. The song spoke to me in a really big way because at the beginning of that song, Isaac Brock does that 100, 200, 300, and he goes all the way up to 1100. And that was the amount of miles it took to get from my house to Mallory's house when we were long distance. So it was really like perfect. And during the summers where we would like drive from one to another, we would start the road trip with that song. So it's a very memorable song now in my head. We got 22 months from Shane the Destroyer, 25 from Austin the Wisconsinite. See, that's appropriate because Wisconsin. How long does it take you to drive from your house to her house now?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
That's why he was late.
I was.
It takes 20 minutes to get anywhere in the city.
Well, sometimes less.
Yeah.
Everything is at least like 10 or 15 minutes away, but nothing is more than like 25. Except for the things that are further away than 25, but that's like specific things. We got one tiny burp from me, and 300 bits from Jet says, good morning. About to start my 10-hour drive to Illinois to visit my brother and 2 job interviews. Just need to wait for my boarding place to open to drop the dogs off, then it's time to skedaddle.
Good vibes on the drive and the interviews.
Yep. Good vibes. 10 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
10 hours is a lot. 10 hours is, I think, about the maximum
In a day you would go.
that 36-year-old Steven would want to drive in a day. 10 hours is probably topping it off. Like, could I do 12 in a pinch? I think I could do 12, but I would hate those last 2.
Yeah.
10 is, like, manageable. I also love talking about this because then the people from, like, the UK are like, how can anyone stand to be in a car for more than 90 minutes? Like, you just do it. Although, there aren't 12 hours in a day. On my favorite days, there aren't. Oh my god. Dr. Jeff says, I've been subject to a 48-hour non-stop car ride. Do not recommend. I don't like that. Didn't Jepson do like 20 non-stop? Yeah. I don't know what the distance was exactly.
He went. We did advise him to not do that.
Yeah. One year for E3, he drove from Seattle
To Los Angeles.
to Los Angeles in one go. And that was an insane amount of time. And I told him, I was like, I'm really worried about you doing this. Like, don't do this. Like, please, on your way back, like, find a parking lot and just, like, rest for a little bit. And he did. And I was like, okay. Good. Because, that can be dangerous. Sometimes you realize that your cognitive functions are failing, but sometimes it's such a slow decline that you don't realize that. And driving a long distance, especially alone, I really don't. Like, if you have a buddy that you can like switch driving with, or at least like conversate or whatever, because then they know if you're like getting tired. What'd I say?
Conversate.
It still works. Still works. Oh, God. Sefason says, I drove from D.C. to Seattle and back by myself in 2016. It was awful. That is bad.
We drove from Los Angeles to Myrtle Beach one year, and that was a lot. But we were, like, taking our time.
Yeah, I mean, that we did that over the course of, like, 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how long it took Sephazon, but any number higher than... or lower. Any number lower than, like, 5 is completely unacceptable. Probably. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with how long that is.
Several days. Oh.
I do want to drive, though. I just had this conversation with Mal recently.
I don't know if I love that.
I want to drive up to a place. Because it has been a bit. It doesn't all have to be in a day, but, like, I do want to, like...
I don't know if I want to, though.
We don't know where we're going yet.
I don't know where we're going yet.
What if we figure that out? And then you'll be like, oh, well, actually, I do want to do that. Anyway. We got 73 months from Shy. 301 bits from Nintendo Nitwit says, Mal, a few questions. Why didn't you keep your nails painted for long? And also, do you think you can invite Haley to a nail painting stream soon?
I didn't keep my nails painted for long from last Monday because they were chipping really bad this weekend when we did a big cleaning project. So I took them off on Saturday night because of that. And I also broke one, so I was like, well, let's file them down. The others were getting very long.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I can't invite Haley. I don't always know if she's free, or sometimes I decide to do nails last minute, and I don't want to invite her last minute to be like, pack up all your stuff and come over.
Well, I mean, also, when you do nail streams, that's typically Friday afternoon, and, like, Haley works.
Yeah.
So, and Monday night is usually...
D&D.
That's Friday night.
Oh.
I was going to say Monday night you're playing a game, not doing
that's it.
Not doing
Someone else I know does D&D on Monday.
Oh. We got 20 months from Jamie R. 67 months from Fries Pikachu. And a snack from Captain Joe.
Fulfill your deepest desires with Tiny Eddie's Greasy Ice Sandwich.
It's actually not my deepest desire. Eddie, what will
I think my stomach just flipped.
Eddie, what will be my breakfast on a cool rainy day in Wisconsin? I really hate greasy ice. So, like, ice is already slippery because it's
an ice cube mold that they've filled with ice, so it's in the shape of bread. Ice cube mold is of bread, like a slice of bread. So it's basically an ice cube that's the shape of bread, and it's just coated in grease. Because it'll freeze on contact with ice.
So, like, someone took that and then sprayed it with Pam.
You have to have two because it's a sandwich.
Well, a sandwich is more than bread.
That's so much worse. That's why my stomach flipped.
What's in the sandwich? A sandwich cannot...
The grease. It's like peanut butter.
I'm done with this conversation. 300 bits from Fossix with the Brett Raccoon Star Rain. 100 bits from DC20 Will Save. 300 from Fries Pikachu says, so your current playthrough of Mario Odyssey has helped to inspire me to do a bit of casual speedrunning of the game. Yesterday I beat the game sub 230 for the first time, so my next target is 215. Nice.
Nice.
Very cool. I'm not super interested in doing speedrunning like myself, but I think the sort of game that I would be most interested would be something like Mario Odyssey, some sort of 3D platformer with a lot of freedom of movement, just because they're just very, very fun. We also had 25 months from Captain Joe, 72 months from Ultra Husk, that's a 6, and 65 months from Andrew in the Kitchen. Thanks. All right, tell me Chaz's dream.
So, I've been talking bikes at Chaz for a while.
Okay.
And he said, at the end of my dream, you had me ride a bike, and the right handlebar was way longer and bendier than the left. And when I said, what the heck, Mal, you started on some crazy bike person explanation, and then I woke up.
That's very funny, because
Is yours a bike dream too?
No, I live that experience of getting bike explained on an almost daily basis, which I love that you're passionate about this. I do. But man, I've learned so much information that I cannot possibly retain. There's so many things.
I'm looking at buying a bike, and I had to explain group sets and what group set this bike had and why this bike is great.
I like it. You're choosing this thing, but like you tell me about bikes or something related to bikes. Like I don't know if you even know you do it like 5 times a day.
I think you're exaggerating.
Like it has got there's been a few times recently where I haven't said anything, but I've thought to myself, Mao is telling me more about bikes than I have ever talked to her about cameras.
Yeah, but you've talked to me about cameras for years.
So you're catching up.
Yeah, I'm catching up.
You gotta catch up real quick. That's fair. 100 bits from Fire Goddess. Fire Goddess, thank you. Do you want to hear my dream?
Yeah.
So my dream was me and you were in a Dunkin' Donuts, and this is a tiny Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, the sort of thing where like you walk in and there's the counter that takes up the entire like depth of the store.
Okay.
And then there's maybe like a 2-top and a 2-top, like super, super tiny, maybe a booth or something. So me and you are sitting in there, and I'm looking up and I'm realizing how dilapidated this Dunkin' Donuts is. Like the menu, there's a menu up on the wall, and thinking about it now, in the dream it made sense, but thinking about it now, there's all these menu items that do not exist at Dunkin' Donuts. But it also looked like it had been there for like 100 years. And we're sitting there, and there's a family that comes in with 2 very young boys, and they're probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, and they sit down at the 2-top, and then they are given some food, and you're looking at your phone or something, so you're not paying super close attention, and I look over, and the boys have been given a pile of pulled pork, and the one boy is sitting up at the table looking down at it, and he goes, "Oh man, it's the pork! That's gonna make us fart so much!" And then starts to sing this very elaborate fart song to the tune of Mario Brothers. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, "This is gonna make me fart, dude. I'm gonna fart, and it's gonna be so..." And I'm just sitting there like...
What's a young Steven? I know, right, Renee?
So this is happening, and he finishes the first verse. And by the end of the first verse, I've made eye contact with you. And you're just looking at me. And then him and his brother in unison start a second verse, and you crack. You start busting out laughing so hard. And I'm like, I can't believe all of this is happening. Anyway, then I woke up and I had to go to the bathroom so bad.
Because of all the pork you ate on Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening in this dream. Like, dreams don't generally come out of nowhere. Like, they're usually from something, like, recent. So the pulled pork makes a lot of sense because I ate more pulled pork on Saturday than I have at any other time in my life. By no small margin. And, the Dunkin' Donuts thing, I don't know, I just like donuts. Not enough to see a donut in that dream, because I didn't see a single donut in that dream. You would have thought that I would have seen the display case. There wasn't one.
It was too small. Bless you.
I don't even think I saw an employee. Where were we? I don't know. Anyway. That was my dream, and it was funny. I like it whenever you are in my dreams and laugh.
I'm in your life and laugh.
I know, and I love that. I love that too. I love it when you laugh. It doesn't matter if it's real you or the one in my brain. That's like one of my favorite things. So anyway, let me tell you why I ate more pork on Saturday than any other time in my life. We went to a barbecue contest, and the barbecue contest was part of a festival that was going on called the Got to Be NC Festival, which took place at the... Three people all at once.
Define barbecue. North Carolina barbecue.
Southeast pulled pork barbecue. I know the word barbecue can mean different things in different places. So, take place at the state fairgrounds, but it's free, which is nice, because normally the state fair is like, I don't know,
$12,
something like that. So we got a group of people together, and we went on Saturday. We got there early. It was raining a little bit, which was nice, because it would have been extremely hot. And this barbecue contest had over 20 different teams, and they had judges. They had like a panel of judges that was judging the best pork.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
The best pork, the best turkey, the best sauce, and the best dessert. However, with your ticket, you also got
People's Choice vote.
A People's Choice vote that you could give to one of the teams. So I took that personally, and decided that the only way to fairly cast the vote would be to try every single team's barbecue, which was a task. So everyone else in the group who was sane just like went and ate food. There was plenty of folks that were doing sides with
the
barbecue.
Some had desserts.
Yeah, some had drinks.
Chess says I ate 90 of them. 90% of them. And every dessert. That chocolate pie, though, Chaz, that was good dessert. Sometimes.
I actually never saw my group. It was one of the loneliest experiences I've ever had, because I didn't see the group at all. What happened was, when we got there, I was like, oh, before I go in here, I want to go to the bathroom.
Because
so I went
it was a separate thing, and it was like fenced off in a price.
Yeah. So I went to pee, and there was a line, and, I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and it's not that I expected anyone to wait for me to get back, but they didn't. So everyone got through the line, and then they got started, and then I got through the line, and I got started, and they were just always ahead of me going around the thing. So we
weren't stopping at everything. I wasn't.
So I actually spent the entire day completely alone, eating
barbecue
pork by myself. So that's fine. But I had to make a decision about like what to eat, because Chaz, I came back to you multiple times. I saw you. I saw you in the same way that I saw everyone. But I wasn't able to spend time with anyone. Anyway, it was a Thursday. It's not relevant to the story. I decided that I was going to just eat pork. So, no sides.
No dessert.
No dessert. No sauce. I was just going to try the pork. So, I ate...
There's like 25...
There were 24 different...
24?
24 different teams. 23 had pork. the 24th had brisket, and I didn't know until I was already at the front of the line. And at that point, I was like, give me the brisket. So, yeah, I ate a lot of pork. And, about half of it was not great. It was just not super memorable in any way. The other half was good. Bag on, so you lost. Chill Day says half of it needed sauce. I think that was a lot of it. There were some teams that, when I got the meat, they were like, you gotta have our sauce. And I was like, nope. And they were definitely disappointed. They were like, but like, I can't judge the meat if I have sauce on it. And if I put sauce on some and not others, then it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So you got to make some decisions about what you're going to do. There were teams that were the opposite, that like whenever you got the meat, they were like, now before you put sauce on it, try it. And I was like,
my favorite one was like, what was the wording? They were like, that we need to try it first, and try it right here. I need to see your reaction to your first bite of it. And that one was my favorite out of all the teams.
Ramcat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
they had a ton of like silver plates hanging from their tent because they've won other ones before.
Yeah, it was fun. The big issue that I had that day was that from the very start, people were giving me too much meat.
Yeah.
Because like I knew that I had to eat
a
lot of meat. And like from the beginning I was like, no, just a small amount. And I had to keep changing my verbiage every place, because at the beginning I was like, just a small amount, and then I was like, just a tiny bit, and then it became just a bite, like just a little bite, and even saying just a little bite, a handful.
Yeah.
So there
was someone that put some on my plate, and I started to move to the dessert of that table, and he reached back over and put even more on my plate while I had moved over. Like, calm down, I can't eat that much.
Yeah. So it was a little frustrating, and it was surprising too how few people listened to me.
Yeah.
When I was like, just a bite, just a tiny bite, and they're like, and I'm like, what are you doing? So we had those, your $20 ticket basically gave you a plate, and the plate was segmented, like in a tradition.
Into three, yeah, with
like
a big section and then two smaller ones.
So what happened was, they would give me meat, and I would try the meat, and then I had extra meat, so I put it into the big section, and then I kept doing that. And like at a certain point, I called it loser meat. The loser meat section was quite large, and like I feel bad about it because like wasting food is deeply hurtful to my soul. But also I'm still pleading with every team to give me some people did. There was one person I remember that went to do this, and I was like, just a bite, just like a tiny bite. And they were like, just a bite. And they did like little tiny bite. I was like, perfect. Excellent. But there was, after I had been through about 3/4 of the way, I had a sizable portion of meat that was on my plate. And I got up to one team, and I told the story on Discord. I got up to one team, and the guy says, respectfully, it's not cool that everyone has worked so hard to make this meat and you're gonna waste all of that food. And he said this as he gave me like a tiny bite. And I said, respectfully, I have pleaded with every team to give me a tiny bite, the amount that you are giving me now, and no one is capable of doing it. And the person next to him that was also on the team that was helping, he was like, ain't it like that, though? And I was like... So after that, I dumped that meat.
Yeah.
I finished... I had all that... I was like, I cannot keep going up to teams with all of this meat on my plate. So I got rid of that. And then I finished the last few. But I got to try everything, and it was a good experience. It was a good experience. Like I said, about half of them were not super great.
Yeah.
There were some that were bad. Because there was at least one that I got it, and it was so dry. And I was like, what have you done? What have you done to this meat? But most of them were just kind of, There was a few that were good, and then there was one... Well, there was two. There was one that I really liked, but it was too far removed from, like, a traditional barbecue flavor.
That was the one I liked?
That was the one that was Mal's favorite.
Yeah.
It was good. It was just... It was a very radical departure.
I think Chaz liked the one I liked best, too.
I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was good. But whenever I think of, like, what, like, traditional southeastern, southern barbecue is, I'm like, that's not quite it. But was it good? Yeah. It was spicy.
It was spicy.
Very spicy. But there was another team that did something that was just so good. And actually, that was one of the teams that gave me a little too much at the beginning. So what had happened is I realized early on, I was like, oh my god, this one's good. So I took their portion, because it was divided into 3 spots. I took their, because they had given me a fair bit, I put that into one of the special holes.
The smaller ones, yeah.
The loser meat went into the big section, and then the blank one was where I got new meat. So I would try the new meat, and then if they gave me too much, the extra went to the loser space. And the special hole was if I got something and I was like, ooh, this is good, I could compare it to the one that I thought was best, and then I'd be like, oh, that one is still the best. So it was maybe kind of good that they gave me
I don't
more.
know if I tried that one. The one that you voted for. I don't remember.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. Like,
It was a lot of barbecue.
It was interesting because I did keep some of that meat with me for most of the thing, and like, it really wasn't super close.
Yeah.
Like, that one was so much better than
Yeah.
any of the other ones to me. And anyway, they didn't win.
Chrysalium says, was there stuff other than pork in the brisket? Someone
Turkey.
had turkey.
There was turkey.
That
a
was
lot
the
of the
person
places
who
had
reached
turkey.
back over to give me more turkey, and I was like...
And like, the thing is, these days when I go to a barbecue place,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, I order turkey.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know there was going to be so much turkey. Otherwise, I may have done turkey. Because turkey's
easy to screw up.
Turkey's easy to screw up.
Yeah.
I've had bad turkey, but I've also had really good
Yeah.
turkey. So I like to go to like, when we go to Danny's, I get like a turkey sandwich. Man, that's good. Now I want a turkey sandwich. I want Dunkin' Donuts.
And turkey sandwich.
Turkey sandwich. Anyway, it was nice to have tried everything, though, because when I went back up to the place that I really liked, there was a little bucket to put like the People's Choice tickets.
Yeah.
And instead of putting my ticket in the bucket, I handed it to the guy. And it's just this little tiny thing. I was like, I want you to know that I tried every single barbecue here, and yours was the best. And his eyes lit up, and it felt so good in my heart. Because I'm sure most people didn't actually try like everything,
Yeah.
because you would have died.
These were not restaurants, by the way. That were
No.
having all these.
Yeah, this is like Masonic lodges.
Yeah.
Those are almost all of them.
I think they all were.
Yeah, so it's just like a collection of Freemasons that had barbecue. But yeah, it was nice, and they had a bell on the table, so he was like, I give him the ticket and I told him this, and he goes, oh man, he's like, that's great, thank you. He's like, will you ring our bell? And I was like, I will ring your bell. So there's this big bell, and I rang it. And then he goes, yeehaw! And I was like, all right, we don't need... we didn't need that. That part's not... we'll need the yeehaw. Just the bell's fine. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. You know who won the People's Choice?
Who?
I bet you know who won the People's Choice without me telling you.
The one I voted for? Or the Megaphone? Megaphone. Really? I never did try Megaphone. I was way too full by the time I got to Megaphone table.
Because, like, of course they're going to win the People's Choice if they have a megaphone. In fairness, they did a great job. There was a guy out there with a megaphone in front of one of the spaces, just being very, very funny.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, the people in line, talking about the people walking by. Chess says they did a dance for every ticket, which was true. If someone came and gave them the ticket, they all, like, did a dance. And so, like, and Jibin says, how many teams had megaphones? Just that one. And, like, it worked for them. And in fairness to them, their barbecue was in, like, the top half of...
Yeah.
Theirs wasn't, like, a bad one. Theirs was like,
I
did
did ask you and Chaz and Jeff what everyone thought of the Megaphone table.
Oh, yeah?
And everyone was like, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Because I was, to be honest, I was expecting it to be bad. It was like they're relying on this megaphone thing. But no, it was good. But they won the People's
They had a
Choice
dessert,
Award.
so they were a good one. Chaz, what was the best dessert? Because I don't think I got every dessert, because I didn't go to that table.
I didn't eat a single dessert.
You missed out. The chocolate pie was the best. I'm glad I tried the chocolate chess pie.
I do think if I went back again, like if we do this again next year,
Yes.
I think that I won't do what I did this year because there was listen. I skipped out on all these sides, but I saw them. And that's really hard. That's really hard whenever you're up at the thing and they have pork and turkey and baked beans and mac and cheese and coleslaw and they have all this stuff and you get the pork and they start to like try to give and you're like, no, just the pork. There was one person that was like, I got the pork and started to walk away and he goes, you gotta try our smoked mac and cheese. And I was like, I can't.
And you love mac and cheese.
I cannot try the smoked mac and cheese. But also by that time, I had eaten like 17 different tables of food. Yeah. Jazz. I was so excited about unlimited hush puppies. I can eat unlimited hush puppies. Like, I have a special bag of holding for
Did
hush
you eat
puppies.
any hush
No!
puppies? Why? If you have a special stomach just for hush puppies, why didn't you eat any?
I put pork in that bag. So yeah, I think next year I would just be like, this is a $20 meal ticket for really good food.
There was also a special building on the fairgrounds for this festival that was a $3 ticket, and they were sampling stuff too. So you didn't go into that, but there was a
Everyone
table,
but me went in that.
There was a table that was sampling freeze-dried candy. Mm-hmm. So it was like Skittles and saltwater taffy or something. There was like ice cream samples. There was a lot of distilleries that were sampling spirits. And there was a bunch of the vineyards sampling their wines. There was a bunch of samples.
I was so full.
Yeah.
That I did not. When I was done at the thing, which was later than everyone else because I had started later, and then I shot a bunch of B-roll before I left. Y'all had went into that building, and I was like, I will not do that. So I got a bottle of water, and I sat in the shade for like 1 hour.
Nita says, as a non-American, what are hush puppies? It is a cornmeal batter that is deep fried. They're round. It's like cornbread, but deep fried.
Yeah. Sometimes there are onions in them. Although typically, we're going to get into the weeds here a little bit. Typically, those hush puppies are spheres about the size of golf balls, and those typically are served at seafood restaurants.
Yeah.
But the hush puppies that you get at a southern barbecue place are different, typically. They're usually not spheres.
Yeah.
They're normally...
Like mini hot dog shape.
Yeah, they're like little
Sometimes they're
hooks.
curved a little bit, like a crescent moon, and they serve them with honey butter.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, when there's honey butter.
Yeah. Yeah. If you grow up in the South,
I had never heard of them.
the food is bad for you.
Yeah.
It's like it's like everything, actually. It's like every
Yeah.
single thing.
Some tables had crackling,
Fatback.
fatback. Some other things I tried that I'd never had before.
You had never tried Fatback?
No,
What'd you think?
it was fine.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I'm ready to go to...
Crescelium says, "What are these?" as a non-southerner. I don't know. I try not to think too hard about it because it might make me nauseous.
I do want to go to a southern restaurant now. Like, not right now, because my stomach is still not happy. But I do want to go. Just saying, date nights are a thing. I mean, we got a date night coming up.
I think you're picking next.
It's my turn, but I actually, as much as I would love a southern place, having talked about all this, I actually have a different place in mind.
Okay.
So it's fine. It's fine. Fargata says, "Is it as bad as 50 nuggets?" Someone did ask me that, I think, on Discord, and the 50 nuggets was way worse. Like, I felt like I was gonna die. I didn't feel like I was gonna die after eating all the pulled pork, but I was like
Miserable.
full, like capital F full, to the point of like I need to sit.
Ouch.
When I did the nuggets, that was rough. I've never felt like that in my entire life. I
Had to lay down for a few hours.
I
after
did.
the nuggets.
Yeah, I hurt. It hurt to move. Everything was so bad. Thomas was making me. There he is. Thomas was making me laugh, and I was like, "You have to stop." I hurt, and if I throw up, I'm definitely aiming it at you. We got 30 months from ow, my dude. And 3 bits from Dishnet says, "A weird story I found. There will be 6 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles competing in a race at the Indy Motor Speedway soon, which makes me think, what would be the craziest race you could think of?" I mean, that's pretty crazy. Is 6 wieners going at it. Yeah, I don't know that I got anything worse than that. Penny farthing race? That would be good. Unicycles.
My
Blimps. Go! At your own pace. Get there when you're ready.
a local bike shop did a Frankenbike build-off, where you built a bicycle from random parts, and then you had to ride it a mile,
Yeah.
and it was a race to do all of that.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I saw one of the bikes, and the crank was like up, down from the cassette, and then the seat was up, so it was a very, very tall bike.
Yo, you
And there was a lot of rebar.
You showed one of them on Breakfast Stream a few weeks back, where
I think I showed the one with the banana seat.
you showed the one where the back swiveled also,
Oh yeah, that one. That was not the one I'm talking about.
which
but
is
yeah.
a terrifying thing to think about.
I
like-
watched some people ride that one. That was wild.
Like, the front is supposed to turn. If the front and the back turn, I'm like, I don't like that now. It feels like a good way to fall? quickly, like a very quick fall.
I have a photo of the tall one. They used rebar to make it. They like welded rebar to make it tall.
I mean, you can post. You know how to do it.
I know how to do it.
You can put a photo. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, I had a good time at the pork buffet, and I would be willing to do stuff like that again at some point. There's that sort of stuff happens all the time in the summer, even though it's hot and that part sucks. There is a lot of like different little festivals and stuff that happen.
Yeah.
And I would like to try and do a little bit more of that this summer, maybe, because I feel like last summer we didn't do a ton. I remember we did a Lebanese festival, and that was delicious. I liked that a lot, but it was tiny. It was really, really small. But I want to do some other things. Ideally. Did you find your photo? That was a loud sound.
Something.
I don't know what that was. We got 73 months from Colin to P. Thank you, Colin. Chrysalim says Lebanese festival sounds divine. It was really good.
It was. It was very hot that day, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, there was, I mean, the food was fantastic, but then there was also, like, dancing. So there's a vlog on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a vlog on it. And I did shoot stuff at the barbecue thing. They
called it the Pig Jig. That was the competition name.
Carolina Pig Jig. Yes. So I'm gonna... That's actually the video I worked on a little bit yesterday, and I'll be finishing up hopefully today. So... I made some other vlogs in the meantime, too. I got one coming out in 7 minutes.
Look at that bike. There's rebar here on the fork.
How do you...
What? The foot pedals are up higher, where the seat of the silver bike would be.
Alright.
See, I think I could get moving on it and bike on it, but stopping would be the scary part. I would need to, like, pull up to something and hold it so someone could steady the bike so I could crawl down.
How do you feel about unicycles?
I actually had a dream about a unicycle last night. It had clip-in pedals.
I saw someone went by me on a unicycle, and now I don't remember if it was in Raleigh or New York. Probably New York. It had to have been New York. I think it was New York. I was just thinking about unicycles, actually. Because I was thinking about Uniracers. I don't know if you ever played that.
Yeah.
You have? Mm-hmm. That's fun. I used to play that with my dad. We got 53 months from Ashlina. Appreciate it. You know who made Uniracers?
No.
DMA. You know who DMA was? Rockstar before they were Rockstar.
Mm.
So, like, before they were making Grand Theft Auto...
That's what they made?
They made Uniracers. That was a long time ago. But I guess, really, it wasn't that long before the first Grand Theft Auto. The more you know. Neat. When are they going to put unicycles in GTA? That's the big question. Maybe it's not the big question. Maybe it's like a small, tiny question. Anyway. I'm going to run beans. So I'm not entirely sure that the reason that I'm sick is the pork.
Yeah.
Because that was a while ago.
That was Saturday.
It feels like that was too long ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know why my stomach's upset today, but it'll go away. And when it does, baked bean time. Can't wait. Things that are coming up. God,
You want to end stream quick?
No.
You want to get through this and end stream?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a professional.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, things that are coming up. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and tomorrow at 1 p.m. we will be continuing The Last Guardian.
You.
Me. I will be continuing. Apparently not the finale. I guess this is going to be a 4-stream game, because we're not to the end. But that's fine. Thursday breakfast stream 9 a.m. And then Friday morning, are you finishing that painting yet or no?
I am finally ready to work on all of the plants, which is the last thing I have to do. So if I don't finish it Friday, I will be very close to finishing it. Because everything
That's
else
fine.
is done.
That's fine. I'm impressed at how long it's taken, because
I have
there's
worked
been a
very
lot of
detail.
There's a
on it.
lot of
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what I told myself when I started it.
Yeah, I think you're on week 10.
Really? Dang.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're.
Wow.
Yeah, you are actually.
I was gonna guess like 6, but
no,
okay.
like you're pushing 3 months.
Okay.
On this painting.
Okay.
So just so you know, for next time. And then Friday night more Mario Odyssey. We did really well last week.
Yeah.
In Mario Odyssey, like we got.
I don't know.
I don't know. We have 150 something, I think, something like that. 170. I don't know. We got a lot of moons. 153, 153. So we're averaging about 50-ish per week, and I got that VOD out so people can catch up if they want to. And Mal got the 100 jump rope.
Sure did.
Yes. Yes, she did.
Uh-huh.
She did
Sure did.
technically get it.
Uh-huh.
She did. Yeah. It's fine. Good job.
Thank you.
Good work. Anyway, I think that's it.
You have a vlog coming out.
Yeah, there's a vlog coming out in a minute. I have one scheduled for after breakfast stream today, and also I have one scheduled for after breakfast stream Thursday. So I have 2 ready. The other thing I need to do is I need to get your Shadow of Destiny VOD out. I'll work on that.
We gave a kitten to a little girl.
Did you?
We did.
And you're almost through that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's 2 chapters left.
Okay. All right. Well. Neat.
We got stabbed in the back. And we had to prevent
Again?
it. Yeah, again. And we had to prevent it by finding a frying pan. We juggled.
Buying a frying pan.
Yeah, we had to go get a frying pan. We also got poisoned.
It's okay. It sounds like there's some.
We got hit by a car.
This all happened last night?
Yeah.
Dear God. Okay. All right. Yeah. It is a very odd video game. Yeah. I'll be working on trying to get that onto the VOD channel in the next day or so. So that'll be there.
A woman died and someone turned it into a movie.
What? You only played this video game for like 2 hours last night. How did this many things happen? 2 hours in The Last Guardian is like I pet his nose. Like
Satan
we
took a baby.
make 2 jumps. And you're like, well, we got hit by 4 cars, stabbed 6 times. All right. Yeah, that is true. The big animal in Last Guardian, I did find out last stream that he poops. And apparently, I think he's been pooping the whole time.
You've just missed it?
I've just never seen it. But last stream, I found it. And like it's like you can carry it around. You're like, oh, I got his poop now. Anyway, it's Game of the Year from 2016, from 9 years ago. There's a trophy if you catch him pooping. Oh my God! I just gotta sit and watch. Third stream's not going to be very entertaining for a while. All right, vlog's out. It's the London Fog Cake vlog. It's a tiny one, but
It's good cake.
But you get to see the cake that Mal talked about for a long time. It was good.
Bless you.
It tasted like tea.
Surprise.
Anyway, all right. That's it. That's it. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful Tuesday. Go watch the London Fog Cake video. It's like 4 minutes long, so it will not take much time. And I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for the continuation of The Last Guardian. See you then.